Hey everyone, welcome to today's show. Happy to have everyone here. It's Thursday, and we are going to talk about veteran owned certification and what's happening with that program. I'm going to give folks some time to get into the room today. And so, again, welcome all. I know we're starting about 1 minute early. So, I just definitely wanted people to get in, to start introducing themselves, to start saying hi, tell us who they are and what they do. And then we're going to jump into conversation today, particularly discussing what's happening with the rules for veterans that are changing on January the 1st. And so that's going to impact all of our veterans out there. And we want to talk about that, right? Because that's important for those who are veteran owned businesses, veteran owned small businesses, service disabled veteran owned businesses. What's happening with this program? So today's topic, we're going to discuss that. We're going to look at what I'm doing in terms of the space with the VA hospital. And then we're going to get into the actual some budgets, where are they spending money, right? Because I know y'all like to talk about money and opportunities. And so we're going to wrap up with that today. And hopefully, in between there, we'll have some people ask some very articulate questions. And we can answer those questions for those veterans out here who may be impacted by these rules and changes. So, as always, first and foremost, thanks for joining us. Happy to see who's out here today. 27 people watching. Make sure that you, first of all, tell us who you are, tell us where you're located at, and what it is that you do. I'm not interested in your certifications. Practice makes perfect. So we're not going to talk about certifications just yet. All right. So don't tell me about your certifications. I don't really want to know about them at this point. But I am very interested in you, your company, and where you're located. So those are the things that I'm interested in, not your certifications. But as always, someone's going to tell us how many certs they have and which ones they have, because that's how we've been trained. And unfortunately, so many of the small business representatives out there, and so many people, I had a call today. They asked me, what cert do I own or what cert do I have? So that does get people into the really bad habit of discussing their certs and not their capabilities. But here on our show, we want to discuss capabilities, not certification. So tell me about your capabilities, what you do, where you're located, because I want to see how I can help you. All right, great. Now, like I said, today we're jumping on and we're discussing the veteran owned program and how that affects so many of us out here. I happen to be at the VIB Network. Shout out to the VIB Network. If you're not part of VIB Network with Rebecca Aguilar, definitely look them up. It's VIB Network, Veterans and Business Network. It's a free organization to join, a couple thousand members, all veterans, and they have great. I've been to, I think, 2 of their last conferences. They got great conferences, great activities, but again, it's free for veterans to join. So if you're not part of that, definitely plug into Rebecca's group. We'll be supporting them. Again, I just left supporting them last month, and we'll be supporting them again next year. So let's see who's out here today. Who's interested in learning about the problem? Someone says they restricted my thumbs up. I gave too many. Good stuff. My man Ronnie, welcome, sir. How are you today? So happy to have you out here. All right, NYC Flying Car Business. I love it. I actually had someone call me today about drones, and they're looking for a drone partner for a big project that's coming up with one of the military installations. Sorry, Charles, I skipped over you. Aloha from Maui. Charles is our first guy in the room today. He says it was chilly, 63 degrees. Keo Marketing, metal panel roof consultant, sitting down writing proposals at 2 p.m. I love it. Welcome from New York. Matt Coleman, welcome. IT Logistics out of Dallas, Texas. All right. James Montgomery, South Carolina, Transportation Company. Are there any veterans here today? Are there any veterans? Kenny from Augusta, Georgia, dumpster rentals, light demo remediation. I love those areas. Lisa from Washington, I'm loving 3.0. I'm currently interested in CRE contracts. Lisa, thank you for that. But tell me what a CRE contract is, because I'm not sure. All right, Marcus, MT Resource Services, Chicago consultant, proud GovCon Giants member. I love it, Marcus. Thank you, sir. Rashad, 357 Designs, specialized in promotional and fraternal products, located Chicago, Illinois. I signed up for 3.0 last night. So Rashad, actually, first of all, thank you for signing up last night. I already got a plug for you. I talked to one of my guys today who sells apparel, and he had a meeting with Boeing today, and he had a meeting with another agency for his apparel that's being approved. So he does provide apparel. Maybe you could get in some of your promotional products with him. So definitely reach out. If you guys signed up, you do get a call with me depending upon whether you did which level program. But everyone does receive a minimum. Even if you sign up for the 6-month program, I think we give you a 15-minute call and then 30-minute hour depending upon the level you signed up for. So, but in the meantime, you could still. Free is your resource specialist. She should be on here shortly. So if you have not already met Free, or you haven't got the emails that tells you about your resource specialist, Free is the person that connects you to everyone in the organization. And particularly if you're trying to reach me, Free is the best person to go through. We have several meetings a week. But I do have someone for you, Rashad, because I just spoke to my guy today, and he just got off a meeting this afternoon with Boeing on some of their different programs, and he sells actual he does like t-shirts and stuff. So he does apparel, and he's looking at providing Boeing, different groups of Boeing, their apparel. So that might be a good fit for you. That's why you have to tell me what you do. If y'all don't tell me what you do, I can't plug y'all into our network. So again, I don't, someone wrote a comment today. I'm not here to brag. I'm here to tie you in and to get you connected. But if I don't know what you do and how I can help you, then it's really hard for me to do so. All right. Teddy Jackson, painting, striping out of Chicago. I didn't know you did striping, Teddy. I think that's the first time I read that. All right. Aqueen Lee, we know who that is. Rico Teamer, NHQS Corp Office Supplies, San Antonio, Texas. Lice. Anthony says, I finally got my cage code to Sam after 3 months of trying. Anthony, don't feel bad. It's been really, really, I literally made a thumbnail that said sam.gov sucks. It's just been that awful. So it's GSA is really making it hard with sam.gov. It's almost like they're not trying. So don't feel bad. If anybody's having any problems with Sam, it's not your fault. I promise you, you're really probably not doing anything wrong. They just, I don't know if they're transitioning staff or if they transitioning corporations who's doing the programming, but they're really struggling back there and not doing a really good job of customer service. So congratulations on that. I know it's a big deal. Like I said, so yes, who else? Ronnie, cybersecurity, MSP, Columbia, South Carolina. I love it, Ronnie. I've got a buddy of mine that buys MSP, so I don't know what level you're at, but if you're at the level where you're thinking about exiting the business, I do have buddies of mine that are interested in MSSP. So, all right, what else? All right, we got some veterans in here, representing some veterans in here. Somebody says drone partnership, discuss online. I don't even know who you are. Your thing says LinkedIn user. So I don't know your name. I don't know your company name. I don't know anything about what you do. My man, Jerry Ladd. What's going on? Jerry, what do you think about Chat GPT? Jerry's our resident genius here tonight. What do you think about Chat GPT, Jerry? All right, Free's here. So again, like I said, if you've got any questions and you just joined our programs, Free is here to help. Like for those 45 people watching, and I'm going to keep going through, I just want to say today we're going to discuss the new program and what's happening starting on January the 1st. Okay, starting on January the 1st, the SBA is going to be taking over veteran certification programs. And so we're going to talk about that today. What does that look like? What do you have to do? Who's being in fact impacted by that? And also some of the things where is it good? Is it bad? So that's what tonight's conversation is about. And then, right? And then if you hang around towards the end, we're going to actually dig into We're going to look at the VA hospital's budget request, right? And we're going to talk about what items were approved in their budget requests. So again, you got to hang around to the end to get to the goodies. But for some of you, the certification part might be great. Again, as always, my shows are recorded. So if you got to go, don't worry about it. You could catch it later on. But I will say sometimes I believe it's easier to watch it now just because so many people say, Eric, you make a lot of content. And I know that to be true. But I do this because everyone I hear is here is one obstacle away from changing their life. So we want to discuss that today. All right. Now, 7:15. I blabbered for about 10 minutes. One really quick thing I'd like to share with everybody out here, kind of just something. This is a book from one of my podcast guests that she wrote. Her name is Mama Yu, Corliss Duema. She was on my podcast guest, and it's really, I mean, it's a short read, but she posts these quotes every day on LinkedIn, and I love it. And so they're very inspiring. So I thought I would start today's lesson with one, and I'll drop in the chat the link, Amazon, if you want to pick up the book. It's not really expensive here. I think it's $10. Let me see. There you go. There's the book. Yeah, I think it's $10. So the quote says, "When it's your season, nothing can stop you." I love it. Simple, straight to the point. So I want to start off with that. I figured I'd start off with someone that I knew as opposed to starting with a stranger. We plug somebody that we know. So again, if you're interested in the book, I'll drop the link here. I'm not here to sell books, but I just thought rather than give you a quote from someone that I don't know anything about, I'd start off with someone that we know. Now, let's start getting to the good stuff. All right, so veterans out here, you said you're a veteran, right? Coming up for all of my veteran folks. All right, all my veteran folks. If you go to vetbiz.va.gov, all right, and we're going to get to the lesson, but if you go to vetbiz.va.gov, if you on their homepage, they've got a list of events out there. And on here are a list of their events. January the 18th, 2023. You see what this says? Registration open, VA Direct Access Program, Upright Construction, Virtual Business Opportunity Session. Ronnie, you will appreciate this. All right, Ronnie, we were able to set this up. By the way, big shout out to Ronnie. You know, he basically connected us with this person. And so he's been supporting us all the way around. All right, so now on January 18th, for all veterans out here, there's this event. And by the way, why should you care? I'm going to be the one leading this event on behalf of this particular company, Upright Construction. So we are looking for partners that are veterans. There it says, the goal of the event, identify small business teaming partners and subcontractors for Department of Veteran Affairs, vertical construction, upright and horizontal construction, vertex. All right, so we're looking for partners. These is our target outreach for the socioeconomic classifications. Capabilities, perform VA projects over $1 million. And again, just a little bit about Upright Construction. They've been serving customers since 1991. Bonding limits are $100 million to a single $150 million aggregate. All right. So sign up for the program. I will be leading this particular charge. So you will see my big head out front leading the charge. I will be the one leading this. Our team is spearheading the program. And so I'm very proud of the work that we're doing. And again, the benefit of this, right, is that you already know me. So that's what we're going to be doing, more and more things like that in the future, right? As we are partnering with some of these large organizations, we're going to be supporting them identify small business partners. Sounds exciting. So again, for all of you out here who may be interested, let me go ahead and I'll drop that link in the chat as well. But you can find it on the vetbiz.va page. All right. Sign up, find out more information. And then again, like I said, we've already talked to some folks already that are supporting the Veteran Administration. And so again, the good thing is that as You continue to spread the word about what we do. You continue to support us. We're going to continue to support you. And so we get to grow together, right? You know, all ships rise with rising tide. So again, we're very proud of that as well. So now let's talk about what we came to discuss today, which is the program that's changing. All right. Dun, dun, dun. By the way, if you have any questions about anything that we do, let me just drop this on here. If you have any questions, there is our email, there's our phone number. Use it. People send me messages on Facebook. People send me messages on Instagram. People send me messages through LinkedIn. It's really hard for me to keep up. I don't put these phone numbers and these emails on the screen for you not to take advantage of them. Please. I'm probably the busiest person at the organization. I'm really working on high level things. So it's hard for me to get into the weeds, to answer questions about courses and things like that. That's why we have a team. We have a lot of people working to support you guys. So if you have questions, if you want to reach me, if you want to partner with us, if you want to bring us an opportunity, if you've got something that you think may be worthwhile, if you talk to a government official or contracting officer, somebody wants to give you a big contract and you need a partner, call our office, send us an email, please, right? If you send me a message on LinkedIn, I may not respond for 2 weeks, not because I'm mean, just because I'm busy and I don't get a chance to check my message on LinkedIn. You know how many messages I receive on LinkedIn? If you add in the spammers, right? Because if we didn't have so many spammers, then I could probably get to my real people. But because I have so many spammers, it's just really tough for me to do that. So again, use these numbers, use this information, right? Don't call me about the programs that are ending in December. That's our information there below. Capiche? Capiche? Good. All right, I'm going to leave this up on the screen for folks out there. All right. So again, like I said, if you have an opportunity, if you are a veteran and you work with the VA hospital and you would like a large teaming partner, you meet these criteria, hey, come see us, message us. Again, you don't have to wait for the event. If you're already in this group, this category, you don't need to wait for the event. We've already found a veteran that's been doing work for 10 years with the VA system. And again, maybe you're not that person, but maybe you know someone, right? If you know a person that knows a person, right? I know a guy that know a guy or know a girl that has been supporting the VA and they're a solid company and they're at 10 million bonding or 15 million bonding, right? And they're looking for a partner. This is what we're bringing to the table. So again, that's what I want to share with everyone out there. Now, what happens is, and you'll see this when you go to the homepage, right? This is breaking news. September, it was first announced in September that VA has ceased accepting applications for veteran-owned small business certifications or re-verification as of October the 24th. So if you haven't seen this, you probably haven't tried to apply, which is fine. But the thing to know is that beginning on January the 1st, the government is transferring all of CVE's verification to the SBA, right? And so that was mandated in a 2021 National Defense Authorization Act, which none of us care about that part. However, all you need to know is starting on January the 1st, 2023, you are a veteran or you're recertifying, you're going to have to go through the SBA, right? And they have this little questionnaire, and what does that mean, and what does that look like? So again, the first thing, make sure my screen's big enough for everybody to read this stuff, right? It says, first thing that you need to know, action taken. If you're already verified, right, you will not need to do anything, right? So how many people are already verified in this current system as it is? The SBA is going to recognize your certification. The only, it says exception applies for SDVOSBs and VOSBs whose verification expires before the function transfers to the SBA on the 1st. So if your verification expires before the 1st, then they're not going to transfer you over. So I hope that this doesn't include the people that are listening to this, but if it does, you know what you're going to have to do, right? And so it says these expiring firms must submit an application for verification no later than October 24th. If you haven't done that, it's too late. but it's okay. Not a big deal because you can start with the SBA. So it says background, this law, current responsibility to verify SDVOBs and VOSBs transfer to SBA effectively January the 1st, 2023. So that's in about 17 days from now. All right. So this date is referred to as the law as a transfer date. In accessing this veteran and service ownership and control, the same rules will apply. So again, period of eligibility, SDVOSBs and veteran-owned small businesses holding a VA verification as of January the 1st retain the same period of eligibility as originally designated by VA. Generally, that verification is valid for 3 years from the date of the firm's letter. Is there anyone out here that this affects so far? Anyone out here where this affects them? Yes, no? Okay. So far, so good? Yeah. So what it says ultimately, checking the comments. So if that doesn't apply to you, then you're good. If you are self-certified, it says in here, if you have been self-certified, you will need to now apply through the SBA. All right. So it says if you are self-certified as of now and you would like to maintain your status as a veteran-owned small business or disabled veteran-owned small business, you will have to apply through the SBA. Now, why am I talking about this? The reason why I'm talking about this is because one of the things that we've been doing for my back office staff is tracking solicitations as they come out on SAM. And one of the things that we found is that, in fact, you know what? Let me grab that stat for you. Let me just grab that stat for you. But one of the things that we found was that out of all of the sources saw RFI, the pre-solicitation that the government's putting out, the majority of them that are coming out in pre-solicitation format that meet a socioeconomic designation are falling under veteran-owned small business. And we're talking about way outpacing 8A or any other of these socioeconomic designations. In fact, I just got rid of that recently. Let me find that for you real quick. I thought that was a good. So this is something that we did, that my team did. And we just start tracking, right? So total number of pre-solicitations that were published that came out this week. You'll see there was 4 8A set-asides, 2 8A sole source, 0 Indian, 2 hub zone, 1 local, 2 partial, 49 SDVOSBs. 49. Let me make the screen a little bit bigger. Maria's always fussing at me about the screen's not big enough. So I hear you, Maria, without you talking. All right. Let's go across our chart. So the total small business set-asides, right, was 116. 49 were for service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. You got 4 VOSBs, 0 WSBs, right? And then so you got 180 total that came out in pre-solicitation format. And so we've been tracking that data every week, the 19th, 26th, the 3rd, right? And so you can see the number of, and again, we're looking at pre-solicitations because that's what's telling what's coming out. We typically, for us, we like to get ahead of the opportunities and to see what they're doing. But in just the pre-solicitation formats that we've seen in SAM, right, for the last 3 months, and you can see it averages 556, 443. You can see here 8A has been about 1% consistently set aside. Up zone, I mean, less than that, right? Partial small business. But look at service disabled veterans 9, 5, 5, 3, 5, 6, 6, 7, 3. And that's on a weekly basis. So this is a big deal for me that, when I'm looking at this, right? And again, I'm just literally we're grabbing the data and we are basically putting into a spreadsheet, and we're doing a pivot table, and we're getting all these numbers, you know, just on what they're actually advertising, right, for set aside in terms of the socioeconomic categories. So for me, I say that to say a lot of folks don't understand this stuff and they don't see it and they're not tracking this data. So that's why I share this with you, because you guys probably don't see this kind of data. And so if you're not looking at this stuff, you're not aware that, in fact, all the information, right, that people are telling you about meeting requirements and stuff. Again, I've said this before, and I've had people at the highest levels of government tell me this. They're not actually advertising the other programs the way they are this particular program. And so what's happening with all the programs is essentially they're making more and more IDIQs, but on a standalone contract basis, right? For single source opportunities, it appears that the veteran-owned businesses, separate disabled veteran-owned businesses, are getting a bigger slice of the pie when it comes to the way that they're soliciting the requirements. And I hope that wasn't confusing. Sometimes I do get confusing, but I just want to say it's important. Let's just get down to the bottom line. It's important, right? All right. Follow? Yes. I'm learning to stop talking so much and listen and ask questions to be more engaging. Does anyone have any questions so far? All right. Anthony said, I was self-started on SAM when I registered. Is this sufficient? No, it's no longer sufficient, Anthony. Self-certification. Hold on. Let me pull up the language for you. As of January the 1st, that will no longer be sufficient. I'm going to find it for you, Anthony, the language that talks to that. All right. So here we go, Anthony. All right. That's what it says. Right. And by the way, this comes off the VA's website. So don't say Eric. It's not Eric. This is the government saying this. It's not Eric. I'm just reading what they have. Okay. All right. It says verification is transferring SBA mandated by law. January, they passed this act. In most cases, all right, here it is. Guidance for specific certifications. My business is currently self-certified in a SAM and not a VA verified firm. Do I need to submit an application before October 24th? No. So most cases, no. Most certified SDVs will be able to continue competing for contracts at agencies other than the VA due to a grace period provided by the law. All right. So again, Anthony, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. In most cases, the answer will depend on the firm's eligibility, currently scheduled to expire. Firms expiring prior to January 1st will likely need to submit an application before the October 24th deadline. So one of the things about the Veteran Administration is they do have some really funky rules. So, what they do, and again, I'm pulling it from the VA's website. So, which, by the way, for everyone out here, the veteran program, if you are a service-able veteran, right, then this program, the VA hospital system, primarily gives the majority of their contracts to veteran-owned businesses and service-disabled veteran-owned businesses. So if I can tell you now, I have not been able to do work with the VA hospital systems simply because the companies that I support are not owned by veteran-owned businesses. And so we're pretty much blocked out. But if I were a veteran, I would be targeting the VA hospital and trying to find my way in. So, Anthony, no, unfortunately, we no longer have any grants for the program. We are working with some partners to get funding to provide grants to veterans, but at this time, we do not have any we don't have any grants available. So, All right. So, yeah. Any other questions about this before we move on? Any other questions about this before we move on? I mean, all the information is here. You can read it. I just wanted to talk about it. Anything else? This particular law firm, which, by the way, all this stuff is in your show notes. They wrote this article, which I thought was great because whereas the majority of stuff that we're talking about is for the registration, some of the things that also change in the law was the ruling in terms of eligibility. That's changed now. There was two different rules, or not rules. There were two changes made in terms of requirements for eligibility. And so this particular article by Foley and Lardner LLP, I thought did a good job of highlighting that, whereas the government side did not. And so one of the final rules was the removal requirement of the business to demonstrate good character. And so I thought that was really interesting. So you see what this says? It says the second change was the removal of the requirement of the business to demonstrate good character in order to receive VOSB service disabled veteran owner certification. The former requirement precluded that a business owner controlled by an individual who was currently incarcerated or on parole probation, even if the individual was not otherwise disqualified from government contracting. So they took away the good character standing. So now you could be a veteran-owned small business and not even be in good character, which is pretty cool. So I think that's great, right? So now they're making it easier for all of us to qualify. And then the other rule was the direct ownership. Qualified veterans must own the entity directly and not through a holding company or other entity. Unconditional ownership means that each qualifying veteran ownership cannot be subject to any arrangement that could cause ownership benefits to go to another person or entity. Other than after the death or incapacity of the veteran, further qualifying veterans must receive at least 51% of the distribution of profits for the concern, commensurate with the veteran's ownership interests and the concern. And so for me, when I read that rule, that talks to more on the line of people who have private equity type companies where they're setting up these partnership agreements to own a piece of a veteran-owned businesses so they can go after opportunities. So pretty self-explanatory from that standpoint. I don't know. I'm not sure if they're developing the news opinion wing. I just happened to find that they wrote something on this subject that made sense to me. So, but yeah, Anthony, if you have any questions, if anybody, by the way, all of my sessions are open to questions. I don't think of this as a webinar. The topic happens to be the rule change for veteran-owned businesses, but feel free to ask me questions off topic because, I'm here to support you. And unfortunately, it's really difficult for me to support you one-on-one in a personal format. In fact, let me do this. If anybody wants to come up here and ask any questions, feel free to do that. I like engaging with users, so we'll drop that in the chat as well. And Liam, yeah, we're going to plan that probably next week. But let's jump over to the good stuff. Let's go to the good stuff. All right. Let's look at the money. Annual budget submission. So one of the things that, again, we tell all the small businesses, if you're in my programs, you should know this by now. We tell all the small businesses, all right, all of these organizations. I was actually on a call today with a teaming partner to go after some of these opportunities with the government. And he said, okay, how are we going to know, right? So the forecast lists are great for things that are coming out in the future. This is the budget submission for things that they were trying to get approved so that you will know, like, as projects are coming down. So again, grab this off the va.gov's website. There's the budget submissions. It's 4 volumes. I was interested in construction, long-range capital planning. So that's the section that I pull down. And then even within construction and capital planning, I had to go through this 600-page document, made it down to their strategic capital investment planning process project list, right? And so in here is where they actually list the projects that are going to be funded. Isn't that cool? So you have major construction, minor construction, and any one of us can do this. Any one of us could do this. This is not reserved for me. Any one of us can pull down these lists and this information and go through it. So I pulled this down. Anybody see any of their towns here, cities? St. Louis, Missouri, right? By the way, look, project costs. This is in the millions, just in case anybody knows. Long Beach, California, St. Cloud, New York, Asheville, North Carolina, Tallahassee, Florida, Maria, Bedford, Massachusetts, Alabama, North Carolina, Mill Springs, Kentucky, right? Expanding and renovate a center for aging to support psychiatric residential recovery, Honolulu, Charles, Hawaii. Construction addition, renovate building 3, pharmacy and associated ADA parking, Wichita, Kansas, $15 million. Replace Santa Fe National Cemetery. All this information is public information. They're on websites. Look, St. Augustine, correct facility condition deficiencies. Marietta, Georgia, right? So this information is all public information. It's publicly available. West Palm Beach, Florida, that's right down the street from me. They're acquiring a multi-specialty clinic for looks like $113 million. Wilmington, Delaware. So again, part of what we do, right, at our organization is we do what's called capture. And if you don't know what capture is looking at these types of opportunities way in advance, and so that we pulling them down. And so for us, this is how we help our clients plan out what targets that they want to go after. This is also how we start looking at identifying potential teaming partners for these projects. We're planning way in advance for this stuff. We're not waiting until it comes out to then find who's appropriate partner. Like I said today, I was on a call today with an architect and engineering firm discussing how we can work together to go after some of these projects. We're doing that now before the projects are even put out publicly, because we went and looked back into the budget to see what they're soliciting for. And so now we're like, okay, we need to align ourselves with the right partners that have the experience that we are lacking so that we could put together the strongest team and go after this. And so I probably do that 3 or 4 times a week with different teaming partners on different projects, maybe even as much as 7 to 9 times a week now that I think about it. But at least 3, 5 that I could think of off the top of my head, that we actually have regular sessions with different teaming partners discussing opportunities that we could pursue together, future opportunities. And so again, he said, where's the list located? I'll put it back. It's right here. I'll drop the link. The link should be in your comments. Here we go. There's the link, but it's under VA Gov budget. And then I'll drop this link directly to the PDF for construction. So that way y'all can see that too as well. All right. So I'm giving you everything. Like I want, like I said, for me, these are things that we are actually doing. And that's why, like, I changed the topic tonight to discuss this. One is because the veteran program is a really strong program, particularly at the VA hospitals. Number 2, I know that this is going to impact some people, and they're going to be asking me about this come January the 1st. They're going to go to CVE and find out it no longer exists. So I'm giving you a heads up so you can plan. And then number 3, right, like I'm talking to you about the same strategies that we do over at Alchemy Gov for our paid clients. So if you're just coming on now, right, on January the 18th, here on January the 18th, all right, I'm hosting this session. All right. So if you're a veteran and you support the VA hospital, I will be hosting this session right here. All right. With Upright Construction. All right. Virtual business opportunity session. We're looking for veteran partners. Believe it or not, they actually asked us for women-owned small businesses as well. So that's an area that the VA, for some reason, I'm not sure how or why, but they did ask for that. Maybe they're not hitting their marker and goals. We're looking for people who perform VA projects over $1 million. Or again, you don't have to be that person. Maybe you know that person. Go find them because I'm your plug. So again, I'm hosting a session. As you see here, we're looking for small to mid-sized construction projects for the partners, right? People have done that stuff. Our bonding limits are 100 million single, 150 million aggregate. So again, right there on the VetBiz site, if you go under, if you're here, go back out, right? Under their list of events, January 18th, sign up. I'm going to drop this also in LinkedIn as well. So again, connect with me, connect with our team, right? We're looking to partner with folks like yourself. And we're going to be doing more and more stuff like this. This is one of many to come. So if you're trying to decide, like, you know, who you want to work with, I'm telling you what we're doing. You found out from it. It's not other than on the VA website. You haven't seen anybody else talk about this kind of stuff. So again, I'm looking to support those. Like I tell people, I invest in those who invest in me. Tam, I got you. I'll sign your book. All right. Maria, we gotta get Tam a copy of some signed books. Right here, Tam. I'll sign yours right here live on the air. I'll sign yours right here on the air. All right. So again, just kind of recap for all those. By the way, 66 people watching. I hope I have 66 likes over here. All right. Just to recap, veteran program is changing hands. If you want to do business at the VA hospital and if you're certified, you're still good. It's changing over to SBA. If you're self-certified, you're going to have to reapply through the SBA to do work at the VA hospital. Everywhere else, you should be fine. The good thing, though, I will say, is what I've seen, like I said, in terms of what I heard the SBA speak at the VIB Network, I heard the guy said that part of what they're doing with the SBA, having the veteran certification, is that if you have if you're a woman-owned business and a veteran-owned business, they're trying to eliminate duplicity of efforts, meaning that so that you don't have to apply. You can apply for both certifications almost like simultaneously and not submit your information for veterans, submit your information for women, right? So that's the whole what I've heard from the gentleman that spoke at the conference. He said that's some of the benefits that will occur by putting everything under one umbrella. And I can see that happening. And I hope that that happens across the board for other things as well, because I've actually expressed my concern that imposing all of these different certifications on small businesses is a hindrance to their success. And so you're putting unfair burden, right, and financial burden on them to try to comply with all of these different certifications that are being handled across different agencies, different entities, third-party vendors. So again, if they put it all under one house at the SBA, let them handle it, you should be able to get, you should be able to put your name and address in one time, right? Put your taxes in one time, right? Put in there your employee count one time, and then it should be able to carry over. So again, thank you, James. I hope it goes smoothly as well. So that's what we like. My man, look, free Tam, love, peace and happiness, women in Lennox. Maria's dropping her LinkedIn in the chat. Joseph says, we're currently working on a VA project, searching for the site. We're certified and seeking more partnerships. All right. The site is the va.gov website. So it's just right here. This is where you start. Sorry. Questions, comments, confusion. All right, that's where you start right there. vetbiz.va.gov. That's the site. That's where you start. Yes. No, it would be amazing because the paperwork is crazy and it's unfair. So for me, I think that they don't understand that is when you're telling a small business, right, who's trying to figure out how to make it, like go get all these certifications, and so that you can start competing, and then they have you doing certifications with third-party vendors, and then you have to do a certification with a government agency, and then you do a different certification with another private vendor. It's like, come on, it doesn't make any like. When do we get to do some work? Yeah, like y'all don't understand. Like we just want to do work. We want to deliver products, deliver services, deliver goods to the to you. Like why do we have to jump through all these hoops? The big companies, they don't have to do none of this stuff. They don't have to get certified. They just bid projects. So why do we have to go out and be subjected to all of these unnecessary additional requirements? And we're the little guys with little amount of resources. This is the reason why they're driving us out. And this is the stuff that I'm talking to these folks about, including like them coming on my show and saying this, because it pains me that like I said, NASA was at a private event in freaking Alaska, right? And how many of you guys were in Alaska at that event? Probably nobody on this call. Probably nobody that's listening to me, that's going to be listening to this particular video, was at that NASA event in Alaska. So why does NASA have freaking 20 people at a private exclusive event talking about they want to help small businesses? That is a disgrace. So for me, I'm like, hello, if you really want to get your message out and you really want to reach max amount of people, you should probably put it on a free public platform like YouTube. And I told them they don't have to put it on my site. They could make their own YouTube channel, but they should make it free and accessible so that we don't have to go to deep dive, like they said, within the NASA site to find out when the information is, and then go over to the NOAA site to find out when their information is, and then go over to DERSA site, and then DISA, and then I just think there's a better way. And so trust me, I'm out here swinging the bat for everybody, trying to figure out how I can get these people to change their thinking, right? So it really is tough, but we're working on it. They have a Veterans FedGov site. I don't know that. Yes. So this is the site that I just shared with everybody. It's on here. Did I take it down? Okay, here. This is the site that everyone can start with. Are you still working with Ryan Garner? Yes, we are working with Ryan, but Ryan ran out of funds. So unfortunately, he ran out of funds. And so right now, there's no, like I said, there's no scholarships available at this time. But we are working with other organizations to try to get funding for our program so that we can support you. All right. Now we've got a couple minutes left. Anything else? All right. Joseph got it. Perfect. Free, your network is your net worth. Perfect. No, you're welcome. Like I said, we're in the rooms. Free. How close are we to get NASA on the show? Free, by the way, it's working to get NASA to come on our show and speak publicly. Free, how close are we? Free's working on that. If you're just joining us, we went through the requirements. Free, while we're waiting on Free to tell us information back on NASA. We've got the VA hospital here. They're changing the rules. So again, probably doesn't, for most of us, if your certification is still intact, it's just going to be moved over to the SBA now. They're going to be the ones verifying veteran-owned small businesses and service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses, taking place starting January the 1st. The only thing that really impacts you is if you're still valid, you're going to carry over. It's going to be under SBA, and then when you do your renewal, it'll be through the SBA. If you are not certified, they stop taking applications. You probably can't do it anyways. So you're going to have to just apply through the SBA portal, which I think is a great thing, by the way. I love the SBA. I think they do a wonderful job at offering different programs to basically service all of us out here. I just think they do a terrible job of marketing themselves, but they've got the best programs, hands down. So again, this probably doesn't apply to most of us out here. And then I think someone had a question about, where was it? Okay, here. If you are self-certified. So again, once the transfer is effective, self-certified, you can begin submitting your applications to the SBA. You will receive self-certified a 1-year grace period and applications during this period to maintain eligibility until the SBA reviews the application. All right. So again, you're not going to they're not going to kick you out right now for being self-certified, but you should apply because it's just not worth it being in the gray area when you're trying to get a contract. I can tell you that personally, the feeling. All right. What else? All right. Thank you. PB LLC. By the way, my man, Anthony, you said you're new, so ask questions, Anthony. Yes, the SBA paper is nuts. James Mosley, thanks. All right. Ask your questions, please. I'm going to take this question. It says, can you explain the difference between a pre-solicitation and a sources sought? Yes, absolutely. So sources sought is the government doing market research to determine if they should make the requirement a small business or one of the socioeconomic categories, service disabled, women on hub zone. So they're still doing market research to determine, or maybe they should make it full and open competition. So at that time, the government, in the sources sought phase, the government can actually determine, hey, there's 2 or more veteran-owned businesses that are eligible. We can make this a veteran-owned set-aside program. Or the government can say, we have 3 small businesses that can do the work. Let's just negotiate directly with those 3 small businesses and not put it out for open market solicitation. So at that stage of sources sought, they do not have to move forward with putting this out, soliciting this on sam.gov. Pre-solicitation means typically it's about a month before the solicitation is going to be released. And so what they're doing is they're giving us notice that this opportunity is going to be released in the next weeks or a month. So pre-solicitation is them letting you know that a solicitation is about to be released. And so at that point, you can have, sometimes, how many people out here have seen something come out in SAM and it was due in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, right? So like, wait, that RFP just came out. Why is it doing only in 2 weeks or 3 weeks? So the reason why, because they actually put out a pre-solicitation a month ago, letting you know it's going to come out. So in the government's eyes, that was time to get ready for it, not when it actually was released. And again, that's my words. That's not the government's words. Don't hold it against them. But that's the way I see it, because they put these things out and they're like, wait, this thing is due in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And you're like, this thing is huge. How do you do a whatever, like this such a complicated project in such a short period of time? Because they put out in pre-solicitation. So that's why if you look at my screen, when I have this Rhino's bid alert, for me, we're only looking at sources sought and pre-solicitation, because that gives me time on a sources sought to try to get it sole sourced or do the direct negotiation. And then on pre-solicitation, that gives me time to start building my team. And so that's why for me, those are the key things that we look at, because we're always trying to like get ahead. The more likely it is that I can negotiate a job or a bid, the more likely is I can control, right, my success, control my margins and that kind of stuff. When I'm competing against a lot of other people and it's a race to the bottom, then it's obviously a lot harder to do that. Jerome says, how do we partner with your company as an SDVOSB? Like I said, on that list, Jerome, sign up for that program. We'll be talking about what we're doing there as well. And so right now, that is the program that we have that we're pushing out as of today, right? In the future, we're going to have other programs, but right now, that's the one that we're currently servicing. What's the best way to search for the set-asides for SDVOSB? So Garrett, all set-asides are issued in SAM. But for me, I think the question is, it's kind of you're asking about looking at a variety of opportunities as opposed to specifically what it is that you do. So all of the set-asides are in sam.gov. However, it's just going to show you a list of everything that's set aside. Remember this: the majority of set-asides, the majority of all these social economic categories, right? So when I say social economic categories, that means the 4 set-asides, right? Women, hub zone, veteran owned, and then 8A, right? So when I say that, typically, most of those set-asides are now going into IDIQ contracts. So you're not going to see them as much on the open market. If you're just joining me now, this is a sheet that we created. And so we've been tracking opportunities as they come out for the last 3 months. This is what our data is showing us. So as you look here on the chart, the first week, I'll go across. First week is 9/19 that we start tracking this information that I asked our team to start tracking it. There's number 556 pre-solicitations that came out. And look at how many were actually set aside. Out of 556, there's 116 that were small business. But in terms of, right, so 180 were set aside, but 116 of those were small business, right? And so if you subtract that, you have 49 that were service disabled business. So if you add up 116 small plus 49, that's what, 160, what, 4 were set aside. So the rest of the group got 0 set asides, right? So if you're only looking at veteran owned small business, you're talking about, like, this week 49 came out, 26, 28, 16, 27, 34, 25, 43. Again, if you then start breaking it down into industry or sector, you maybe have 1 or 2, maybe none. But if you go backwards and you start looking at your particular area, which is what we talk about, if you go backwards and you start looking at an FPDS or USA spending, essentially go and look at your industry or your sector and find out, right, all the opportunities in your sector, then you can see a bigger pie because not all of them are going to be listed. These are single source contracts. Like I said, we work with certain sub agencies that do not issue single source contracts. Does everybody know what I mean when I say single source contract? Meaning it's not a bundled contract, it's not a multi-year contract. So what you're looking at are single source opportunities. But there are certain agencies that don't even use that stuff anymore. So you will never see the set asides because they're only putting out IDIQ contracts. All right, Jerome just registered our January 18th event. Good stuff. Let's all do a group brunch one of these weekends. Hey, Lewis, I'm always down for a group brunch. You ain't say nothing to me. Can you add the link for SBA CVE? Yes, I can do that for you, Anthony. All right. Anthony, I'm assuming you want this chart here. It's my assumption. That's the PDF. All right. What else? Oh, it's 8:03. Past our bedtime. All right. I'll take a couple more questions and we're going to chop out of here. What other sites, paid sites maybe instead of SAMs that you can check for contracts? So there are some other sites that you could check. So here's a site that you could check. It's called Fed Bid Speed. And you can check that site for contracts. In fact, if you go to your local PTAC, they will give you free access to this website. So if you go to your PTAC, they'll give you free access to this website. All right. Cool. Eric, question: what's the best way to get paid from a client as a consultant? For me, I always suggest that you have a subcontracted agreement with them once you win a project. So I like to have my own subcontract agreement tied to the project for whatever amount that we agreed upon, and so that way, essentially, as you know, the government pays them, then you're a subcontractor on that contract. That's what I like to do. Set aside limitations are 250K for SAP unless you perform 50% or more of the work maintains. It's possible to do the admin part at 51%. So, Anthony, I guess in theory, yes, it's possible to do 51% admin. It's in practicality, no. And so, you know, really what happens in that case is there's a couple things you can do. One is it's actually 51% if you don't use another set aside company. So the essentially, if you work with another small business, right, then that still does not count against your 51%. So let's say you get a project for $200,000 and you use another small business, then you still are qualified, right? You're still within that realm. The only thing that would happen now, if you were a service, if it was a set aside for veteran or hub zone, something like that, then at that point, you'd have to find another small business that was the same status. If you sub it to them, the 51% won't matter either. But let's say that none of those two scenarios apply, and you still have to figure out how to meet this 51% requirement. Then one of the things that we recommend is to partner with whoever you're working with, and we've actually had to put some of their people on payroll. So maybe you buy some of the equipment. So if you said, let's just say it's because I'm a construction guy, it's an air conditioning contract, and so they're going to do it for 200,000, and you're going to make 50 grand. Let's just say raw numbers, right? So they're going to do the project, right? Let's just say I keep my notepad here for a reason. So let's say, right? So we're going to put you in at 50K, and we're going to put this person in at 200K, right? So that's the contract, right? So within their 200K, they've got equipment and they have labor. And so let's say the equipment is 100K, labor is 100K. Okay, cool, right? And so this is Anthony, and this is the subcontractor. Cool. So really, Anthony, all you've got to do essentially to be eligible, right, is you got to move another 50K onto your side. So you could actually buy 50K worth of the equipment through your particular contract, or if you want to put some of their labor, right, on payroll on your side, some of maybe their project executives or project managers, you could put that labor up here on your side so that you meet the eligibility requirements. And that's what we do all the time is we just essentially we put their people on our payroll. Some of the administrative folks, we put them on our payroll, which are usually the higher dollar guys. And so they get a check from our company as opposed to the other company. And then that allows you to be compliant. All right. All right. Maria says your local PTAC gives you access to FedMine. James, what days I host my shows? Typically Wednesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes on Mondays. Zach says Eric always gives great information. You're welcome, Zach. Zach is killing it out there. By the way, if you're on LinkedIn, make sure you go follow this guy right here, Zach Golden. Please, if you're on LinkedIn, go follow Zach. You will not be disappointed. And don't forget, follow my man Liam. Where is he at? Yo, where my man Liam at? Where is he at? All right. Can't find him. All right, cool. All right. Let's see. Is a consultant a private business or is it government contract opportunity? How do we start? I don't understand the question. Whether consultant is a private business or is it government contractor opportunity? I don't understand the question, Jerome. Sorry. Or Joyce. I don't want to. One last question. When starting a team, which people who would you need to have? You don't need any of those people. Right? So when you say starting a team, I'm assuming you mean starting your business. Yeah, you don't need any of those. I mean, look, a procurement officer. I don't have no procurement officer. We do have lawyers. I didn't even have accountants to start because when you don't have no money, what you need an accountant for? So I'm in the framework of, start working, right? Because you're going to spend a lot of money trying to prepare to do a job that rather than learn. Like for me, the biggest thing that everyone should be doing is learning how to do government contracting, right? And then all the other stuff falls in place. If you learn how to do government contracting, before you go pay a lawyer or accountant or a procurement officer, we have people like that come on our shows, on our Tuesday calls, and our private group sessions and our programs. And you could talk to them for free. You could talk to lawyers and accountants and procurement officers. We brought on a chief of contracting for GSA, came on our show and talked to our students. She gave us a couple of hours of unfeathered access to ask whatever question you wanted. So before you go spend any money, that's what I would do. Are subcontract companies opening hiring some of their employees temporarily? Yes. If they work in the government sector, they're familiar with this. Like I said, and if the company, look, if people want the project, they'll do what it takes to get the project. So most of the time, what I've seen, Anthony, is that most companies, right? If you look at what's happening with Meta, all these companies now laying off people, most companies understand if they can't get continuous work, they're going to have to lose those people anyways. So we're giving you a way to get projects and continue keeping your employees busy. You're doing them a favor. Does the other company charge you to keep their employees for the duration of the contract? I don't know what that means, Ruben. I guess you mean, do I pay a premium? So the way that I look at it, Ruben, is, you are, right? If you bid to me $200K, right? And you're still going to get your $200,000. So I don't know if this guy might have 40,000 in profit. So me taking 50,000 of labor and putting it up here doesn't change his profit down here. So I don't understand why would he charge me a premium for that. I've never had someone charge me a premium, but like I said, the biggest thing that most people are concerned about, Ruben, is keeping their profit, right? Because what their issue is going to have, Anthony, is someone's going to say, well, if you take my labor, then now their contract is only 50,000. And if you were to look at their books and see they're making, the same profit on 150 that they're making on 200, it's going to look excessive. And so that's what I found the real, like when you get down to like, not the BS stuff and surface, when you get behind the scenes, that's the real issue that the people are complaining about. It's more like, my profit looks like it went from 30% to like 45% profit because you took away a part of my cost. All right, there my man go. Follow this guy also on LinkedIn. All right, you should be following each other, but I just gave you two people that you should definitely follow right here. All right. All right, listen, I'm going to sign out. It's 8:13. We got to speak every Tuesday, like Maria says, in our Grow Lab sessions. Learning a lot, feel better, stars consultant, work up the bigger contracts, good stuff. My man, Anthony, great stuff, brother. Looking forward to talking with you. A lot of people that you see on here are going to be your peers, right? So Freeze in our group. And so, like I said, We're looking forward to talking with folks. And again, remember this, starting for everyone that signs up in December, starting in January, we're going to have our 30-day challenge. So we're going to go straight into a 30-day challenge where we're going to be working with you, all the newbies in our first cohort. You're going to be working directly with me for the first month of the year. So everyone that signs up in December will be working together with me in the first month of next year. So we're gonna be going right into like the goods. Yeah, Donnie Harris, man, that guy's classic. All right, man, at 3.0, pace yourself in 3 months or less, depending on how aggressive you are. You know, no problem, Anthony. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Talk to you soon. If you got any questions, reach out to my staff. Thanks.